Things will get worse before they get better. That's the message from our new Prime Minister. Good morning and welcome back to Morning Markets. Today we're going to focus in on the UK in particular. Parliament returns next week and the Prime Minister gave a speech yesterday outlining the difficulties ahead for the UK economy. So why are we here? Well, the backdrop is there's a clash between aspiration and reality for the Labour government. The aspiration is the Labour government wishes to increase spending in real terms beyond that which is forecast by the Office for Budget Responsibility in a number of key areas. However, the reality is the Conservative government were already borrowing over £100 billion a year just to keep the lights on. And also, the economic backdrop isn't that bad. The UK economy is the fastest growing economy in the G7 this year. It's growing faster than Germany, for example. We're borrowing less than the United States as a percentage of our economy, for example, and we also have more people in employment than France. So things aren't that bad at headline terms. But the difficulty is that the forecast increases in tax receipts over the next 5 to 6 years are already subject to be spent on index-linked spending areas. That is, these areas which are linked explicitly to inflation, namely health spending and welfare spending. To put this into context for you, over the next 6 years, spending on welfare is expected to increase around £100 billion. That's an increase of about 40%. So there's a spending burden, but what about the investment burden? Well, investment is actually being cut back in order to help finance these spending commitments. And with the tax burden at a near record post-war high, it's very difficult for any government to find new areas of revenue generation. But taxes are likely to go up at the budget in October. They're likely to explore areas such as pensions and capital gains in order to try and raise enough incremental revenue to plug this so-called 20 billion black hole that Chancellor Reeves has identified. The difficulty ahead for the UK economy remains that spending commitments are focused on areas which aren't really pro-growth. Welfare and NHS, whilst vital for the health of our economy, are not going to increase the potential growth rate of our economy, and that is being at the detriment of places like education and investment. For context, public sector investment over the next 6 years is expected to increase zero in terms of pounds and pence. It's very difficult to increase the potential future growth rate of the economy whilst targeting spending, not investment, and also whilst increasing taxes on both employers and employees. So the new government have likely got much of the bad news out early. There's probably more bad news to come over the next few months whilst we digest the budget when it is revealed in October. However, markets right now are taking it okay. Sterling in particular is doing quite well, and that's because the Labour government are credible in terms of being fiscally conservative, and also the Bank of England are maintaining interest rates much higher than the markets expect for the US, for example. Together that's creating some upward pressure on sterling, and sterling versus the dollar is now at a one-year high. So it's not all bad news, but please join us tomorrow where colleagues will update you on data from the US. Thank you.